One of the most shocking and heartbreaking moments in the entire Demon Slayer story is Tanjiro's death. Yes, you heard that right. The boy who carried the weight of the Demon Slayer Corps, the one who pushed forward alone even after his family died and his sister became a demon, did not survive the battle against Muzan. But what came after was even more shocking than his death. After the Infinity Castle collapsed, the battlefield shifted into the open city at night. The Demon Slayer Corps, along with the remaining Hashira, stood face to face with Muzan Kibutsuji, the progenitor of all demons. This was the beginning of the final struggle, known as the Sunrise Countdown Arc. It was their one last chance to end the 1,000-year reign of the Demon King. The plan was simple, yet nearly impossible. Hold Muzan off until sunrise. Killing him by cutting off his head was useless. He regenerated instantly, far faster than all the upper moons or any Hashira could strike. The only thing that could end him was the sun itself, the one enemy Muzan could never defeat and conquer. So, the Demon Slayers fought with everything they had, pouring out every ounce of strength, determination, and sacrifice just to keep him in place until the first light of dawn. The battle was a nightmare. Muzan's strength was overwhelming, his speed unmatched, and his hatred unrelenting. One by one, the Hashira and the Demon Slayers were pushed to their absolute limits. Bodies were slashed into pieces, blood was spilled, yet no one gave in. They knew this was their final stand. There would be no second chance. If Muzan escaped, humanity would never be safe again, and the Demon Slayer Corps would collapse, meaning that it was just a question of time until Muzan would put his hands on Nezuko, absorbing her and conquering the sun. Through all the sacrifices, they saw anger build inside of them. The more lives goes down, the more the anger evolved, until they managed to pin Muzan against a wall as the horizon began to glow. For a brief moment, it seemed like victory was within reach. The sun rose higher, its rays burning Muzan's flesh, tearing away at his monstrous form. Hope spread through the battlefield. The end of this nightmare was finally here. Only seconds remain until he's dead. But Muzan, even at the brink of death, refused to accept defeat. In a desperate, horrifying act, he transformed his body into a grotesque, monstrous shape, trying to escape the sunlight and searching for any dark to hide. But the Kikuchi, alongside with the hashiras, stops him using anything they can throw at him, and then the sun finally catches him badly and starts to vanish while crying. Yet the tragic didn't end. Here he did something no one expected. He latched onto Tanjiro, the very boy who had fought harder than anyone to hold him down. In a flash, Tanjiro was swallowed into Muzan's decaying form. When Muzan's body finally disintegrated under the sun's light, Tanjiro lay lifeless, his sacrifice sealing the Demon King's fate. The battlefield fell silent. Muzan was gone. The long war against demons was finally over. The Hashira, broken and battered, could finally breathe. For the first time in centuries, humanity was free. But their victory came with a heavy cost. Tanjiro's heart had stopped. His body lay still and cold. His life, the life of the boy who had carried them through so much, had ended. Tears fell. Relief and grief washed over everyone. The story of Tanjiro Kamado had reached its tragic conclusion, or so they thought. As the surviving Demon Slayers mourned, something began to stir. Tanjiro's lifeless body twitched. His eyes snapped open, but they were no longer the eyes of a human. His flesh darkened, his body twisted, and before their eyes, Tanjiro transformed. Not just into a demon, but into the new Demon King. The horrifying truth was revealed in that instant. Muzan had gambled everything on one last chance at survival. In his final moments, he poured every last cell of his being into Tanjiro's dead body. His reasoning was chilling, yet calculated. Tanjiro's body had stopped, but his cells were not yet fully destroyed. If Muzan's essence could take root, there was still a chance to revive him, and Muzan didn't choose Tanjiro by accident. He believed that Tanjiro could achieve something even he never could, conquering the sun. Why Tanjiro? Because of Nezuko. Muzan had seen with his own eyes that Nezuko, Tanjiro's sister, had achieved the impossible. She had become a demon who could walk in sunlight. If she could do it, then Tanjiro, who shared the same bloodline and possessed sun-breathing, might not only survive but surpass every demon before him. And Muzan was right. When Tanjiro rose again, he was not like the demons that came before him. He immediately withstood the sunlight, his body adapting in an instant. His transformation was incomplete, but even in this unstable state, he displayed terrifying power. His body radiated demonic energy, and his movements carried the force of both sun-breathing and Muzan's own abilities combined. The boy who had fought his entire life to protect humanity was now the greatest threat it had ever faced. The tragedy was unbearable. For his friends and comrades, the nightmare wasn't over. The war had shifted. Muzan was gone, but in his place stood a demon king unlike anything before, a king with the heart and will of Tanjiro Kamado, twisted into something unrecognizable. And what made it even more terrifying was that Tanjiro hadn't yet reached his full potential. As Kokushibo once revealed, it takes 3 days for a human to fully transform into a complete demon. Tanjiro had only just begun his change, meaning his strength was still growing. If he had completed his transformation, he could have become the single single most powerful being in Demon Slayer history, a monster combining the legacy of sun-breathing, the curse of Muzan, and the ability to withstand the sun. For a brief, terrifying moment, it seemed like the story was about to end not with hope, but with despair. Humanity's greatest hero had become the very thing he swore to destroy.